Last time I'm going to tell you, you ask, the question is asked, you answer it, and you stop. Next time you do that, I'll just throw you out of my courtroom and hold you in contempt, putting you in jail. Clear?
Clear.
Mr. Backus, please just answer my questions. Now, good afternoon, Mr. Backus. Can you please restate your name for the record?
Joseph Backus.
Mr. Backus, I'm going to take you back to the day of November 4th, 2023. Were you at the location of 20259 Middle Belt Road in the city of Romulus, County of Wayne?
I was.
And what's at that location?
My father's house, the house I grew up in.
And what took you to that location?
I have a 2-year-old daughter that's never met her grandfather, and I myself never met my grandfathers in my life, and I tried to make a better life for her and give her grandfather a chance to be a part of her life and meet her, because she's a beautiful young girl. She deserves to have all her family in her life. I wanted life to be different for her than it was for me. Upon going there and trying to see my father.
Okay. Let's stick to questions and answers.
Okay, so that's what brought me to the house that day, is
I
to
understand.
give my father a chance to be a part of his granddaughter's life.
Okay, thank you. And did something occur?
Sorry.
Did something occur at that location that brings you into court today?
Yep, I knocked on the door. I was not greeted by my father. My brother Dylan answered the door.
Your brother Dylan, do you see that individual in the courtroom?
Yeah, he's sitting over there.
Can you please point to that individual and point out an article of clothing that individual is wearing?
That's the gentleman in the gray shirt.
Your Honor.
Noted.
Thank you. And what happened, if anything, upon interacting with your brother?
He opened the door. He asked me what I was doing here. I said, I'm trying to see Dad. I'd like to let him see my daughter. Pointed at my car, so he was aware my daughter was in the car. Upon my response, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a pistol and proceeded to put it in my face and told me I better get to stepping while I have a chance. I proceeded to walk backwards, not breaking eye contact, to be aware of my surroundings until I got in my vehicle, left, got down the street to get my daughter in a safe location and called Huron Township Police.
Okay. And you described a weapon was aimed at you, correct?
Yes, a pistol.
And can you describe this weapon?
Yes, it was the lower part of it was a lighter gray. The upper part was a darker gray or a black. Handgun looked maybe a 9mm.
Okay. And when this weapon was pointed at you, where was it pointed?
That was about 6 inches away from my face, with the barrel facing my face.
And where was your daughter when this weapon was pointed?
Approximately 15 feet behind me in my car, in her car seat.
And when this weapon was pointed at your face, how did it make you feel?
Made me feel like I needed to get somewhere safe for my daughter. You know, needed to leave that location and get out of there because I have a 2-year-old daughter with me, and now there's a gun involved in this incident.
Was there any other feelings that you felt when this weapon was pointed at you?
And not really. A panic came over me. I just knew I needed to leave and get somewhere safe.
A what came over you?
A panic, like
A
you know,
panic?
something bad could happen, and my daughter's life could be at threat if something happens. So I need.
Did
to
you
leave
fear for
this
your
location.
life?
Yes. I mean, there was a gun in my face.
I understand. Nothing further for this witness.
Mr. Mullins, your witness?
Absolutely.
Now, sir, you wrote a statement in this case when you contacted the police. Is that correct?
Yep.
And you put everything, you were truthful when you made that statement.
Yep.
And is that a yes?
Yes.
And in fact, the only reason you made a statement was to tell the truth as to what happened.
Yes.
And you were not under any restraints in time. No one told you you had only had so much time to fill out that statement.
No, the police met me after I called them, and they gave me the statement. So here, can you just fill
They
this
said
out
you have
and
all
sign it?
the, and they said, oh, you didn't have any time constraints in filling out that statement, right?
Objection. Ask and
I
answer.
just want to make sure I got that out there.
Yeah, it wasn't clear. Nobody said fill this out in the next 3 seconds and hand it back.
No, they just
They
had
gave
a
you
paper
time.
and said, here's this, you had all, I actually walked away and sat at my car for a moment, you know, had time to
Got it.
replay the incident in my head. I had all the time in the world to do it. I mean,
Okay.
we did
Okay.
this.
Okay. Move on, Ms. Mullins.
The individual that you pointed out as the defendant in this case, that's your little brother.
Yes.
He's 5 years younger than you.
Objection, relevance.
I'm just establishing the relationship.
I think it's fair.
You guys have not had the best relationship over the years. Isn't that true?
That's how you like to put it.
Well, I asked you a question. You can say no. That's a yes or no question.
I haven't talked to him in 2 years, so it's kind of hard to say we have a relationship at all.
Okay, and you say you haven't talked to him in 2 years. You haven't talked to anyone that lived in that residence for over 2 years.
Objection, relevance.
What's relevant?
The relevance is the relationship that was going on, whether or not he should have been at that. There's all kinds of questions that's related to the relationship, and it goes to my client's state of mind in dealing with his brother, because there's issues of whether or not it would be reasonable for his behavior under case law as an affirmative defense that even at a preliminary exam you can consider, as well as credibility of the witness. All these questions are relative because these are not normal relationships, Your Honor, of strangers. These are relationships that have been born over years, and they can affect people.
I'll allow it.
2 years ago, you were removed from that house that you went to on that day. Police had to is your testimony the police didn't show up and escort you off that property
They
that
did
day?
not escort me off their property. They were there allowing me to get my belongings and leave.
Right.
It was never escorted.
You were no longer welcome on that property at that time. Isn't that true?
I don't recall any type of court paperwork or anything stating
I'm
I'm
not-
not allowed to
I'm
be
gonna
there.
object to the relevance.
I think it's relevant. I think he's right. It goes to the state of mind of the defendant.
You were not welcome on that property by any of the residents that lived on that property.
Objection, speculation. He's speculating to the state of mind. of
It's a statement too, and I don't like that. So
All right.
start asking questions.
Sir, your father did not want you on his property
Objection.
when you
What's the
left 2
objection? Hold
years.
on. What's the objection?
Speculation. Speculating. to
I
what?
think he's trying to ask a question. He's just having trouble asking it in the form of a question.
Understand.
Isn't it true? Your father did not want you on that residence. He wanted you off that property 2 years ago when you left.
I'm gonna object, Judge. Speculation.
I don't think it is. Did your father want you on the property? Well, a better question would be, did your father make it known to you that you were not wanted there?
No,
Have you talked to your father in the over 2 years from when you left the property to when you arrived on the day in question on?
that's why I was there, to give him a chance to be a part of his daughter's life. It could have been handled better than
All
a
right,
gun in
sir.
my face.
Sir,
In-
this is the third time I've asked you to answer the questions.
I'm answering
Without-
them.
You can argue with me, it's not going to end well for you. If there's a question that's been asked of you and you can answer it with a yes or no, do so. If the prosecutor thinks there's more information that has to come out, he can ask you more questions.
So,
But you're not up there to narrate and get your story out. You're there to answer questions. Understood? Try again, Mr. Mullins.
Isn't it true, sir? You did not speak to your father for over 2 years after you left the family home that you lived in.
yes,
And in fact, you hadn't spoken to your brother in over 2 years during that time period.
yes,
And you hadn't spoken to your sister in over 2 years during that time.
yes.
And those are 3 people that lived at that residence on November 4th when you showed up. To your
Objection.
knowledge, if you know.
Objection.
No, my sister didn't live there.
You don't
Okay.
have to answer.
Okay, that's fair enough. And you had reached out to your father during that 2-year period through text messages.
Is that true?
Is it true?
True,
And you never got a response from your father. Is that true?
true.
And in fact, you had asked him about coming over 2 days before you showed up. You had sent him multiple text messages about coming over to visit
No.
and did not receive a message.
Not true.
You have never, in those 2 years, isn't it true, in those 2 years, you have never been invited over to that house?
True.
And in fact, when you've had a relationship with your brother for most of his life, right? As his older brother, isn't that true?
True.
And there's been times where that relationship has been physical between you two. Isn't that true?
True. What brothers don't get in fights?
Sure. And you're the older brother, isn't that correct?
True.
And 5 years older. Is that true?
Objection, relevance.
Relevance is to show the age.
Relationship. I'll allow it.
I'm not 5 years older than him.
Are you 4 years older than him?
True.
All right. And isn't it true that when he was 13 years old, you duct taped him to a chair and pushed him down the stairs?
Objection.
Not true.
That's not true?
No,
Are you saying you've never been, isn't it true that you've been physical and beat up your brother in the past?
I think you gotta narrow that down. I mean, if, you know,
Well, Judge,
it was 10 and 6 and they had a fist fight, I don't really care.
in the last 10 years, you've beaten your brother up. Isn't that true?
Not true.
Not true? When's the last time you beat your brother up?
Couldn't tell you. The last fight we got into, I actually got 11 staples in my head. So
When was that?
couldn't tell you.
Now, during that 2 years that you weren't living there, would it be fair to say that you had a hostile relationship with both your brother and your father?
It was no.
I'm gonna object, Judge. The attorney mentioned that he had no contact with him for the last 2 years. So now he's saying it was a hostile relationship for the last 2 years. It's one or the other.
It's not
Either
one
there
or the
was a
other.
relationship or there wasn't.
If I can get-
Well, in an earlier question, Mr. Backus said he considered it to be no relationship. So I don't know how it could be a hostile relationship. It was a non-relationship according to this
Well,
witness.
just give me just a little latitude here, Judge, and I'll fill that in. Isn't it true that you had sent a text message within the last?
Objection, hearsay.
Wait,
But let him get it out. Don't answer it.
isn't it true that you sent a text message to your sister indicating, referencing Dylan as the scumbag brother?
Objection, hearsay.
It's not hearsay, it's his statement. If I was,
He's
if
not
I,
the defendant, respectfully.
no, it's the witness's statement I'm asking him of. It's not hearsay. He can testify to whether or not he made that statement.
He's not an out-of-court declarant. He's right here. I'll allow
Didn't you refer to your brother as the scumbag brother in a text message you sent to your sister in July of 2001?
What year?
2001, July.
I was 6 years old. I didn't have a phone.
In July,
2001?
I'm sorry,
Yeah, I was 6 years old.
2021.
I didn't have a phone.
You are correct, sir. My math is not as good as it used to be. In July of 2021, didn't you reference your brother as the scumbag brother?
Don't worry.
And I'm gonna object for the record, Judge.
Well, would that be something
Understood.
you would say about him?
No.
So your testimony is that that's untrue? Is that your testimony?
Yeah.
And is it also true that in that same text message that you sent, that you called your father a loser
And
father?
I'm gonna object again, Judge, for the record, that's hearsay.
Again, Your Honor, it's a statement.
I don't think it is. I don't
Isn't
think
it
it's
true?
hearsay.
No.
Your testimony again today is that you never referenced your father as a loser.
And I'm gonna object for the record, it's relevant,
Now,
not relevant.
when you walked up to that house with your daughter,
Didn't have my daughter. She was in the car.
she's in the car. And when you came up with your daughter in the car, you didn't know if your dad was there or not. Isn't that true?
Yeah, I can't see some walls, so no, I didn't know who was in there.
So you had texted your dad and told him you were coming, didn't
No.
you? So it's your testimony today that you never reached out to your father in a text message that you wanted him to meet your daughter prior to you showing up.
I said, meet my daughter. I never said come by the house. I
Okay?
said I was gonna come by. I said, meet your granddaughter. Yes, that was stated in the text. Would you
And-
like to meet your granddaughter?
And you never got a response. Isn't that true?
True.
And in fact, any text that you sent to any,
Objection.
That's asked and answered.
All right.
Let's move on. I've given you a lot of leeway. Let's get to current events.
so on the date of the event, you said that your brother pulled out a gun. Did your brother isn't it true your brother told you to leave before he even showed you a gun?
No,
He told you to leave 5 times that
did
day.
not.
And when he had his gun, he never pointed at you. Isn't that true?
It's not true.
In your statement, you had indicated he pulled it out of his pocket with the barrel almost inside the pocket. Do you remember saying that in your statement?
The whole gun.
And I'm
was in
gonna
his pocket.
object, Judge, to hearsay. for the
It's
record.
his statement.
He's quizzing you about his own statement he made to the police. It's allowed.
Don't you recall saying that in your written statement?
Yeah, that's,
Okay. And in fact, is it also true that you, when you interviewed with the police, you identified your brother's gun, right? And you is that a yes?
yes,
And is it also true that you identified your brother's gun as a black gun with a silver handle? Isn't that what you told the police? When you, and they interviewed you on 11/4 after this incident.
the hand, where you hold the gun was gray. The slide, the top part of the gun, the slide was a darker gray or a black, is what my
Whoa.
statement was.
Is that what you're claiming you told the police? Is that what your statement is in court that you told the police?
I wrote it down, you can read it.
No, I'm asking you what you told the police when they asked you to describe the gun. I said
what was written on the paper.
Well, let me slow down and ask the question, and you just tell me if this is what you told the police. I'm not asking you what you wrote down. Before you wrote down your statement, you interviewed with the police at the gas station. Isn't that true?
Yes,
Then they gave you a piece of paper and you went and wrote down whatever it is that you were going to say. Isn't that true?
yeah,
And when you were standing there and being interviewed by the police, you were asked about the gun and you described the gun.
Yep.
Is that true?
yes,
And in your description to the police, when they were speaking to you, you told them it was a black gun with either a silver or black slide. Isn't that true?
no, I said dark gray or black.
Okay.
3 times.
And you actually even described that gun as a Ruger 9mm, didn't you?
I said it could have been a Ruger. The barrel was pointing down my eyes, looked to be about a 9mm.
So you didn't see it when he pulled it out of his pocket?
Yeah, I seen it when he pulled it out of his Carhartt pocket and proceeded to bring it up to my face.
Right? Your Honor, you have the ability to play his statement back on the body cam through there if we hook up our HDM.
I don't know if you do or not. I'm not a tech guy, so
We've got.
I know if it's done correctly, it'll do it.
Well, when I'm done with questioning, then maybe I can go back and do some impeachment of the
Fine.
statement. Now, isn't it true that when you spoke to the police officer, you stated probably 5 times that your brother brandished a firearm in front of you? That was your statement to him when they were talking to you at the gas station.
Yeah, that'd be the legal term of pulling a gun on somebody's brandishing a firearm.
Okay, but you weren't necessarily saying he pointed it to you. You were saying he brandished it at you.
He brandished it and proceeded to put it in my face.
So was it all in one action, or did he have it out and kind of show you for
He
a
pulled
while?
his hand like this out of his pocket, gun was in it, pulled it out and put it in my face like that. That's
All in
exactly
one-
what happened, all in one motion.
Okay, all right. Now, is your testimony that your brother never told you to leave the restaurant, never told you to leave the residence?
On
After
November
the
4th.
firearm was pulled, he did,
11/4.
not until after he pulled the firearm.
Okay,
And Judge, I'm gonna ask an answer.
Probably was. Move on.
as soon as you came to the door and spoke to your brother, you inquired if Dad was there, correct?
No, I didn't ask. He asked me what I was doing there. I stated, I'm here to see Dad. That's when he pulled the firearm and said, well, you better get to stepping while you can.
Did you ever receive information as to whether or not your dad was there?
No, because he pulled a firearm, maybe I left. I had a 2-year-old kid in my car.
Your daughter wasn't outside of the car, right?
She was about 10 feet behind me in the car.
Good.
Bullets go through things.
How long is that video? Your Honor, we're gonna ask play body cam of his statements to the police.
And Judge, I'd object, there's no foundation that's been laid.
Well, all right, fair enough. We
That's
can
fair
do it to the
question.
police officer. We'll just call him and he can identify it as his body cam and all of that.
Okay.
Just a second to make sure I'm either done or not done with this witness. Before you went there, you spoke to your uncle.
Objection, where's there, Judge?
Wait, before you showed up with your daughter at your dad's house, you had a conversation with your uncle. Correct?
True.
And
Objection.
and
He's already answered it.
when you had that conversation, did you feel encouraged to go to your dad's house based on that conversation?
Yes.
And why so?
My uncle never indicated that he thought it would be a bad idea.
Objection, relevance, not just relevance, hearsay. He's testifying to what his uncle said.
I asked him
No,
specifically.
he's asking how he felt after the conversation. So that's not hearsay. What's the relevance?
Well, the relevance is what his state of mind would have been going there.
Okay, I think we've already established that he had no concrete reason to feel he would be welcome when he went there.
That's fair enough.
Which doesn't mean he can't still show up and try to
Sure.
mend things. So move on.
Sir, you wanted a relationship with your granddaughter, with your grandfather, your daughter with your grandfather. Isn't that true?
Can you repeat that?
You wanted
It
your
didn't make
daughter.
sense, so I need to hear it.
It was important for you, for your daughter to have a relationship with her grandfather. Isn't that
That's
true?
important in any kid's life.
Well, and you stated today it was important because you didn't have a relationship with your grandfather. Isn't that true?
True.
And you went over there and attempted to facilitate or put together a relationship with your dad and your daughter, correct?
No, I just let it be known, wanted to let it be known if you wanted to be a part of his granddaughter's life, definitely could be an option, something that could happen.
Well, didn't you text him that previous to you showing up, that if he wanted to meet his granddaughter and be a part of his life? Isn't that what you testified to previously?
Yeah. True.
So when you showed up there, you didn't need to show up there in order to get that message across, correct?
True, but he also didn't, I didn't get a response. So I didn't know which way,
Next
one way or
question.
the other.
Next question.
I asked you this question. I just want to make sure that I covered it. Your testimony is you were never told to get in the car and leave.
No,
And you were free to leave. You didn't feel like you were a hostage there, were you?
no,
He never made a statement to you he was going to kill you, did he?
indirectly. He said you better get to stepping while you have a chance. I guess it's up to your own interpretation on how to take that, depending on who you are.
Isn't it true, sir? You were upset with your brother for rejecting you when you showed up there with your daughter to meet
No.
his father.
Not true.
You weren't upset.
No,
It didn't affect you that you wanted to have a relationship with your daughter with the grandfather, and you were turned away at the door.
And I'm gonna object, Judge, to relevance.
Relevance is state of mind. And
State of mind's relevant. But he's answered the question.
wouldn't,
isn't it also true, sir?
no, but I didn't pull a gun on anybody.
Is it also true, sir, that you wanted your brother, when you spoke to the officer in this case, you specifically told them you were making that report because you wanted your brother to get a reality check, right? Isn't that what you told them?
True, we don't live in the wild, wild west. You can't pull guns on people like that anymore.
I don't have any further questions.
Mr. Muhammad, any redirect?
Mr. Backus, when you approached this location and you were greeted by your brother aiming a firearm to your face, did you have on you any weapons at that moment?
No. Also, there was a
No, there is no also. Last time I'm gonna tell you, you ask, the question is asked, you answer it, and you stop. Next time you do that, I'll just throw you out of my courtroom and hold you in contempt, put you in jail. Clear?
Clear.
Mr. Backus, please just answer my questions. Now, did you knock at this door or did you enter the room?
I knocked on the door.
Okay. And did you ever enter this location?
Never.
And you mentioned earlier that, you know, the testimony came out that you texted your father wanting to go over. You never got a response.
No, I
correct?
never said I was gonna go over their house or anything. I just said, hey, you have a granddaughter. She would probably enjoy having her grandfather and her wife.
And so my question is, did he ever respond until you know?
No.
Nothing further from me.
Any recross?
I can't look at, I'd be expanding the record, Judge, I know better.
Okay,
And you've been generous with me, so.
thank you. Mr. Backus, you're free to leave. Watch your steps, sir.
I could like leave or?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanna make sure.
Any reason for me to stick around?
No,
Okay, yes, you can leave.
Have a good day, Howard.
You as well. Any other witnesses from the people?
nothing from the people, Judge.
Defense witnesses?
We're calling a witness right now, we're seeing if he's gonna come and testify. Uncle Kevin.
Sir, all the way up front, please. Watch your step on the incline ramp, all the way up here. Watch your step on this ramp. Raise your right hand for me, sir. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? I do. Have a seat right there in that chair. Settle in that chair and state your full name.
Kevin Lee Backus.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mullen.
Mr. Backus, do you know Dylan Backus?
Yes,
How do you know him?
he's my nephew.
And do you know Joseph Backus?
Yes,
How do you know him?
he's my nephew.
So would it be fair to say you've known them all of your life?
Yes,
All their life, rather, I'm sorry.
yes.
Did you have contact with Joseph Backus on the day that he came over? Let me give you the date, November 4th, 2023, which would be the day that he had an incident. First off, are you aware of an incident between Joseph Backus and Dylan?
I'm addressing Judge Deleting.
I'm asking if he's aware.
I think it's fair. I think it's fair.
Yes,
And how are you aware of that?
because I ran into Joey prior to him going out there.
Okay, and when, prior to him going out there, you had a conversation with him,
Yes, I did.
and during that conversation, did you encourage him to go out there?
Objection, leading.
That's a yes or no. I allow
I'm sorry, can you repeat the
I
question?
said, during that conversation, did you encourage him to go over to his father's house?
No,
Was there anything about his manner that you noticed when you spoke to him that day?
yeah, he came up to me, give me a hug. I could smell liquor on him. I would say my guess is whiskey, smelled like whiskey.
Objection, speculation.
it was.
But
And I just didn't want no confrontation. I gave him a hug back.
And Judge,
What's
I'm also gonna object to relevance. I don't know how, whether he was or he wasn't intoxicated, hypothetically, how is that relevant to the case we have before us?
It's a credibility issue. I'm more concerned with the timing. When was this meeting?
what time did you meet with him?
It was approximately, well, I don't remember the time of
Was it
day
on November
exactly.
4th?
It was on November 4th.
That's all I needed to know.
And, okay,
That's all. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't 3 weeks before.
gotcha.
Was it before he went to his father's house?
Yes,
Okay, and
Objection, speculation. How's he gonna know that?
He's already answered it. Gotta be quicker.
have you ever seen your nephew, Joey, be physically aggressive prior to November 4th? And if you have, could you give us a time frame?
What timer?
No, a time frame.
Well, over the over the years, me and my brother are 11 months apart. Okay, we grew up, with your fist fights and such. I've seen them boys go back and forth, and Joey usually is more the aggressor than Dylan ever was. Dylan's always been the guy that's, tried to, defend himself against the older brother, in my opinion. I've known him, I've known these kids. Me and my brother were in business together. I used to spend every day after work out there. I think them kids are like my kids. They're very tight.
And just so, and Judge, I know you'll give me the asked and answered if I asked it. Did you encourage Joe to go to his dad's house that day?
No,
Objection, asked.
It was.
All right, I couldn't remember, Judge, and I think that was an important question I had. I don't have any further questions of this witness.
Any questions for this Mr. Backus?
Just a Mr. Backus, you saw Joseph on that day, correct?
yes,
On November 4th. You see Joseph in the courtroom today?
no,
On that day of November 4th, did Joseph have a gun on him or any sort of firearm?
he actually asked me to come see his daughter in the car.
Please just answer my question. It's a yes or no. Did he have a firearm on him on that day? Joseph.
Yes, in the car.
How do you know that? Did you see that weapon?
Yes, he took me back to his car, opened his trunk and showed it to me.
And
And
did
he also had a bow and arrow in the trunk. Hunting gun and a bow and arrow in the trunk of his car.
nothing further.
Just one question. Tell Joey anything about going over there that day?
Did I tell him to go over there?
No, did you tell him anything about going over there that day?
No, that was his idea.
But did you
I
have,
knew you couldn't do just one question. Go ahead.
did you give him any advice from you about him going over there?
Yes, I told him it was a bad idea.
I don't have any further questions.
Any recross?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Backus, did you ever approach Joseph and tell him to back off from prosecution or try and intimidate him in any way?
No,
Did you ever threaten Mr. Backus with a weapon?
no,
What was Mr. Joseph Backus wearing on that day?
I honestly don't remember.
You said he showed you a bow and arrow. Can you describe that bow and arrow?
Here's a compound bow.
It was a what?
Compound bow for hunting.
Okay, what color was it?
Camouflage, I believe.
Was there any arrows attached to it?
It was in a case with arrows.
What color were those arrows?
I don't remember.
And you said there was a firearm as well, right?
Yes,
What color was that firearm?
I believe it was black stock.
It was what?
Black stock.
What do you mean by stock?
The stock, I believe, was black and the barrel was black. I don't remember the size of the caliber you said it was.
Okay,
It was a hunting gun.
was there an ammo attached to that gun?
I don't know if there was ammo in it. I didn't ask him if it was loaded
Are you how do you know that it's a firearm and not a BB gun?
because he told me it was his new hunting gun and he wanted to show me that and his
Oh.
bow.
Okay, you said it's his hunting gear?
He said, yeah, this is my hunting gun.
Okay,
He says this, yeah,
okay, nothing further.
Okay, so you can step down. Watch your step on the right.
thank you.
Thank you for your time. Any other defense witnesses, Mr. Mullins?
We would like to call the officer in the case. We just want to get his name correct. Is it Officer?
I'm gonna suggest it's either Zeismer or Lujovic. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Officer, come on up. Raise your right hand. Swear affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth
I
today.
do, Your Honor.
Come on up here, watch my ramp, don't trip up. Settle in the witness chair. After you've settled in, state your full name.
Officer Travis Ziesmer, Your Honor.
Say it again.
Officer Travis Ziesmer.
Ziesmer. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it Seasmore, right?
Ziesmer, sir.
Officer Seasmore, did you respond to a call on the 4th of November 2023?
Yes,
And you had contact with did you have contact with the complainant in that matter, Mr. Joseph Bacchus?
I did.
And do you recall whether or not you interviewed him at a BP gas station in reference to this case?
I did, sir.
And at the time that you interviewed him, did you have a body cam that you were wearing?
I did, sir.
Do you know if that body cam was operating correctly on that day?
To the best of my recollection, yes, sir.
Sure. And if I were to show you a video, would you be able to tell me if that would accurately represent the circumstances of you interviewing Mr. Bacchus at that gas station?
Yes, sir.
And would your body cam have recorded your question and answer? Look, back that question up. You wear a body cam, and when you turn it on, the purpose is to record interactions between witnesses or civilians when you're doing an investigation. Would that be a purpose that you would use it for?
Yes, sir.
And you were using it were you using it for that purpose today? I mean, on the 4th of November?
Yes, sir.
I have it plugged into the HDMI thing that's on the table here. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Sir, Your Honor, can I ask him another question before we start this?
Sure.
When you interviewed him, did you ask him about describing the firearm that he told you was part of this incident between he and his brother?
I believe so, sir.
That's my background. I don't know why my screen isn't
Yeah,
showing.
it's a lovely background too.
Oh, thank you. It's up in the Keweenaw Peninsula.
Beautiful.
Give me just a moment to check my settings here. I apologize.
Try, I was told to hit your desktop and hit display settings and it automatically will start going on. At least that's what we
Oh,
did.
okay. So let's see.
How do you pronounce your partner's name?
My partner's name? Walovich?
Walovich?
Yes, if that's the one.
That's pretty easy.
Yeah, if that's the one.
It's a lot easier than spell.
Yes, okay, so yeah.
Heather. Walovich.
Judge, is it okay if I take 1 minute to step in? While they set up-
Yeah, while we're doing the tech stuff, sure.
Okay, there we go.
Do it quick. Spell it. Ziesmer. See, I would have pronounced yours Zeiss.
Ziesmer.
Yeah, I would have said Zeiss with the IE.
I get it all kind of used.
Oh, I bet you did it butchered really well. Not as bad as your partner.
Oh, no.
Yeah, those J's completely throw you off with his name.
I play just a moment just to make sure the sound's coming through too. Okay.
Knock
Thank you,
yourself
Judge.
out.
Oh, it's coming through my laptop, so there is an issue with it.
Mr. Giroux, if I understand correctly, really all we're after is the audio on this.
Yes.
Push comes to shove, we can probably just play your laptop next to the microphone.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. I think it's something with my settings where I think I just have to click this button and I think this is gonna fix it. Yep, okay, there we go. My apologies, Your Honor. Thank
No
you.
problem. I love me some technology.
It's great until it isn't, you
And
know?
that was all pure sarcasm, just in case you messed with it.
Didn't miss it.
All right, we're back on the record, fellas. Ready to start the video?
Yes.
Just play.
Yep.
She said it was black and silver, some black slide. Okay, looked like a river. Great.
Was that the complaint in this matter describing the firearm?
It was, sir.
And officer, at any time did you recover a firearm that was alleged to be used in this incident?
Yes, sir.
If I were to show you a picture, would you be able to tell me if that was the firearm that was recovered?
Yes, sir.
Is that the firearm that was covered,
Yes, sir, it is.
recovered?
Yes, sir.
You got that picture, right?
Anything else at this point?
No further questions.
Officer, this weapon that was recovered, who did you recover it from?
Who did I recover it from?
Yeah,
We got it from Dylan.
and is Dylan in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Can you please point to that individual, print out an article that individual for wearing?
In the gray shirt on the far
Your
right.
Honor, let the record reflect.
Noted.
The police officer has identified the defendant. Where
Noted.
on his body did you recover this firearm?
He actually didn't have it on his body at the time.
Okay, where was it recovered?
It was actually in his room
In
as
his
he,
room?
yes, sir.
Was this weapon loaded?
That I don't know.
What did you do with this weapon?
The weapon was entered into evidence.
Okay, did you make the weapon safe prior?
I didn't enter it into.
All right, nothing for the witness.
Any redirect with the officer?
None, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, officer.
Thank you, sir.
Watch your step.
Oh,
Can we send him back to wherever he'd rather be?
He can go back.
Yeah, you don't need him to stick
my
around?
only question is this, Judge, it's different because we're doing evidence. I would like to admit both the video and the picture.
We don't need him for that discussion.
No, but I mean, but we did it by video, you know what I'm saying? I
Right.
don't have something tangible.
Right.
Do you have an objection to that?
So I would just request that what's been shown is okay to be admitted, but I don't know what else.
Okay, all right, that's
For that time.
that's fine. I'm not asking, something you didn't see. That's, I appreciate it.
Admitted. So is
The
officer,
OIC is free to leave.
how about Officer Olovich?
Any officer.
The other officer was there.
Yes.
You guys have a nice day.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
For clarity of the record, Rob, you should-
All right, any other witnesses from the defense, Mr. Mullins?
No more witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, any rebuttal?
Nothing, Judge.
All right, so I'm ready for argument, guys.
Judge, the people moved to find over on all counts. The testimony today by Mr. Joseph Backus is he went to go see his dad. He texted him, sure. His dad never told him he's not welcome.
Let me stop you. I heard the testimony. I don't need you to recap it. If we have a 3-day exam, that'll be helpful, but after this short one, I don't need it. Any argument, I'll let him respond to the argument.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk case law. case law as far as a preliminary exam, what this court can consider in determining a bind over. Now, often, Your Honor, the court doesn't look at affirmative defenses and other things, because there could be questions of fact, what could lead the court to say, hey, that's for a trier of fact, and not necessarily for this court. But there are exceptions. And under the People versus Robert Redden, 290 Mishap 65-8485, and they were quoting People versus Woltonen, which is 272 Mishap 678 690. The court noted that in situations in which a defense is complete and there's no conflicting facts regarding the defense, it can be argued that there's no probable cause to believe that a crime was committed. Now, I'm asking the court to do a lot. Now I'm going to backtrack and tell the court or explain why I think that's relevant here. People versus Johnson in 2020 gave an opinion. Oh, I'm so sorry, Your Honor. I'm reading you the wrong case law. I got a specific case law. As I'm looking at use of force and what's allowed for an individual in a situation on their property. And I'm going to explain the facts and give the case. In this particular case, an individual pointed a gun at someone's face. And the trial court ruled that pointing a gun in someone's face was considered deadly force. Now, when you have deadly force that you use, you have a different requirement to show as the defendant in order to get the affirmative defense. And in fact, when you have deadly force that you use in an instance, that would be considered, you have to have a situation where deadly force is necessary and you're saving, your life is at risk. It's a risk of your life in order to do that. But the court in People versus Oakley, which is a 2022 case, 341 Mishap 28 says, pointing a gun at someone without more is not deadly force. It would be different if you pointed the gun and fired it and said, shoot. I was shocked when I read this, Judge, because I've been doing this a long time, and I would think clearly if you point a gun at somebody, that's going to be deadly force. The court specifically indicated that putting a gun and pointing at them in of itself, that's not deadly force. So in this particular case, if we are following the case law, Mr. Bacchus did not use deadly force when he encountered his brother, even if you agree with his brother's story that he pointed the gun at him. And I've got questions with that. And the reason being is, you saw the evidence. He described a totally different weapon that was used. That weapon that the police recovered, and the weapon that was alleged to have been used in this, had a desert storm color, totally different than the gun he described. We also heard the witness fight with the lawyer, kind of be flippant about different questions. We know he did not have a good relationship. We know he wasn't in contact. We know he reached out to his dad for his own testimony, and nobody gave him permission. He wasn't welcome. He left over 2 years ago with a dispute with the family. We heard testimony of his uncle that talked about the relationship between the two brothers and how the older brother was a little more of a hothead and the older brother would get the better of his younger brother, which is not unusual in a family. But this goes to the state of mind of my client, when now, over 2 years later, his brother who's been removed from the place shows up and is there on his porch. And now his brother wants to see dad. Well, based on the relationship, it's the individual who is not engaged in using deadly force. It's a different standard. If this person reasonably believes that the use of some force is necessary to defend himself against that individual, they would be justified in it. I think the facts in this case kind of line up that way. You got an individual, all the things I told you about him. And furthermore, I don't think he misidentified the gun. He said it was right there. What do you say, 6 inches from him, a couple feet from him? I think the witness was not a credible witness. And in a preliminary exam, you're sitting as trier of fact and trial of law, and you can make a credibility consideration. My client is at his home. He has no duty to retreat. And when he's faced with a threat of his brother. And I think the evidence is pretty much square on, and I'm asking for a lot, but this is one of the rare cases where I think the stars line up and the facts line up, where he doesn't have to have, he doesn't have to show he was facing deadly force. As long as even if he's wrong in his belief, but it's reasonable for him to believe that his brother's a threat, then I think that's enough for him to use non-deadly force to remove what could be considered a trespasser at that point. And so I ask you to question.
Thank you.
And so the charges in this case are felonious assault and weapons felony firearm. I mean, that was a great speech on the use of intent to use deadly force, but that's not a requirement for the elements.
It was a great speech. It was a great speech.
It was, without question, if it was regarding the intent of using deadly force. But unfortunately, for brother counsel, that's not the elements of the crime. So the elements in this crime are make an assault with a dangerous weapon, but without intending to commit the crime of murder or inflict great bodily harm less than the crime of murder. So the weapon that was used in this scenario was a firearm. It was recovered by one of the officers. The testimony by the OIC today was that this firearm was recovered from the defendant's bedroom. The testimony today reflects that this weapon was used and aimed at the face of the victim. And the victim stated that he felt in fear. He panicked. He had to leave the situation. And that's what he did. Nothing on the record indicates a self-defense kind of claim where the victim approached the defendant with a weapon. He stated he wasn't armed. He had no knife, nothing. So I believe without question, probable cause, the standard of probable cause has been met in regards to these two elements, and we're gonna move to bind over on these two charges.
Thank you, John.
Go
ahead, I'll give you a shot.
I think the important thing to bring out is this goes to an affirmative defense that my client has. It's not necessarily we're going through the elements of it. We're talking about an affirmative defense. In the case law that I cited, People versus Robert Redden from 2010, published case of the Court of Appeals, allows you to raise a affirmative defense at preliminary exam. Typically, affirmative defense is going to be raised at trial. I know that. But that case specifically says you can do so. And in doing so, you can consider the credibility of the witness and whether or not it's reasonable for my client to feel threatened by this individual. You heard the facts, and I'm not going to repeat all the facts of the relationship. As I relate to the gun, that's the gun that's alleged to be used. That's not the gun that was identified by the witness. Again, going to his credibility of whether or not this crime really was committed. And what they say is this: if the affirmative defense has the issue, if the elements of the affirmative defense are met, this court can find that probable cause that a crime occurred did not happen. Because that's one of the things, whether he committed a crime, and by probable cause, the elements of the crime have been present. So for those are the reasons why I think it's appropriate for you to quash bind over in this particular case.
Just to be very, very brief, I promise. I don't know what the affirmative defense is for. This victim went to the home of his father to show his father his newborn child. He didn't go there with a gun. He knocked on the door, he left. They didn't want him, he left. That's all that happened here. It's a sad case that a brother is pulling out a gun and aiming it at his brother for wanting to, his older brother show the family his newborn child. I think this is a very, very sad case. And it's sad to see that it happened. And we're still moving to bind over because the elements of the crimes have been met. Thank you.
Thank you both. The trier of fact. The testimony was that there was more than pointing a gun. There was get to stepping while you still can. That's a threat. And I'm a huge stand your ground, all that, but you don't open your door and point a gun at somebody. There's got to be something to precipitate it. If you ask them to leave and they refuse, if they make threatening gestures, whole different ballgame. The testimony today was There was no conversation. He was not asked to leave. The gun came out and get to stepping. This is a trier of fact issue. So I'm going to send it downtown. Your next court date's going to be February 14th at 9 a.m.
February 14th.
14th, yep, 9 a.m. Bond will be continued unless I hear something quick. Bond will be continued. Wish you luck downtown, sir.
You want just one last thing, those two exhibits, will they go with it?
I don't know how we're going to do that because, yeah, we don't.
The record marks those two exhibits, the video that dealt with that short interview with the brother regarding the description of the guns, as well as the,
Yeah,
no, thank you, I appreciate it.
yeah, we can do that. Right, picture of the gun, just put in the notes that.
On November 4th, 2023, Joseph Bacuse drove to his father's house in Romulus, Michigan, with his 2-year-old daughter in the back seat. He hadn't spoken to his father, brother, or anyone else in that household for over 2 years. His stated goal that day, give his daughter the chance to meet a grandfather she'd never known, something Joseph said he himself never had growing up. What happened next put his younger brother, Dylan Bacuse, in a courtroom facing felony assault and weapons charges. According to Joseph's testimony, Dylan answered the door, asked why he was there, and within moments pulled a handgun from his pocket, raising it to within 6 inches of Joseph's face. Joseph testified Dylan told him to get to stepping while you have a chance. He said he backed away without breaking eye contact, got into his car, his daughter roughly 10 to 15 feet away in her car seat, and called police once he was down the street. He described overwhelming fear, both for his own life and his daughter's safety. The defense fought to dismantle that narrative piece by piece. Cross-examination revealed a genuinely fractured family history, years of silence, a prior incident where Joseph had been removed from the property, and a pattern of physical fights between the brothers dating back to childhood, including one exchange that reportedly left Dylan needing staples in his head. The defense also zeroed in on inconsistencies in Joseph's account of the weapon itself, noting the gun police recovered from Dylan's bedroom didn't perfectly match every detail Joseph gave police at the scene. A defense witness, the brother's uncle, testified he'd smelled alcohol on Joseph earlier that day and confirmed Joseph had his own firearm plus a hunting bow in his car trunk when he showed up. Legally, the defense leaned on an aggressive theory that Dylan, effectively defending his father's home against someone with a hostile history who had no invitation to return, wasn't required to prove he faced deadly force. Citing case law suggesting that pointing a gun without firing doesn't automatically constitute deadly force, the defense argued for outright dismissal at this preliminary stage. The prosecution's response was direct. The law here doesn't hinge on intent to kill, only on assault with a dangerous weapon. And nothing in the record, they argued, showed Joseph posing any threat that would justify a gun being drawn on him in the first place. He arrived unarmed at the door with his daughter in the car and left. The judge sided with the prosecution's read of the facts. Finding no evidence Dylan asked Joseph to leave, made a threatening gesture, or otherwise provoked before the weapon came out, the judge ruled the case forward to trial, calling it plainly a very sad case. It's worth being clear. Nothing here is a conviction or a final sentence. This was a decision that the evidence is strong enough for a jury to weigh at trial.so. Based on what you just heard, whose account do you find more credible? Let me know in the comments. If you want more courtroom breakdowns like this one, hit like and subscribe so you catch this case as it heads to trial.